Easy. I gotta rock the gamer headset though.
That's totally fine. You're not the only person that does so.
What's up? It's Michael, right?
Yeah, it's Michael.
Nice
Thank
to
you so
meet
much
you.
for nice to meet you too, as well. Like, thank you so much for reaching out to be a part of one of these. The EP6. So I'm stoked to talk about it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, me too. I love talking about it.
Well, my only question for you is, I know you don't have any beer in front of you today, but do you have any unopened beverage that you do plan on drinking that you would like to participate in the open and crack with?
Oh yeah, one sec. Let me grab something. All right.
All right. So what I'll do here,
Cherry bubbly.
hell yeah. What I'll do here is I'll count us down. We'll crack these. I'll do the intro, bring you in, and we'll just have a good time.
Sounds good, man.
All right. In three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. Very stoked to be sitting down with Logan today from SEETHRU. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good.
Dude, hell yeah.
Hungover, hence the bubbly and not a actual beer.
No, totally fine. I know how that goes. For people that might not be aware of SEETHRU, you guys are an emo slash like post punk, a little bit of post hardcore band from Fresno. Doing a lot of cool things. You guys put out a debut EP this year that we'll talk about here in a second. But like doing, you have a lot of good stuff. I feel like cooking in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, try to always have something going on. Otherwise, I get bored.
Right. So like I did mention, you're Logan from SEETHRU. What do you do in SEETHRU?
I am the vocalist, frontman, character,
Okay. And
which
I know
is
we are. Sorry, go ahead.
it's a new thing for me. I'm mainly a drummer. Like all my other projects, I play drums. So this is a brand new thing for the first time. It's super fun.
How daunting was it that first time? Obviously, practices are one thing, but like getting on stage for the first time as SEETHRU, but being like the front person of SEETHRU, like how daunting was that
Yeah,
first show?
it was a little different because it's like the exact opposite of what I'm used to. I'm used to being in the back, like just holding it down. No one really even knows that it's you. You know how many shows
Right,
I've played as a drummer where after you're done playing, you're like trying to like get a free beer or get into the green room and they're like, sorry, band members only. It's like, motherfucker, I was just there. Come on now. So that's been cool to actually be recognized for
right.
doing the band shit. You know what I mean? But I guess, yeah, the first one was kind of daunting, but I've also been doing music shit for like 12, 13 years or something. So
Right. So most of those nerves are thankfully gone by that point. It's just like a
yeah,
new hurdle to kind of get over of just like, okay, I have nothing to hide behind. It's just like I got to stand up
exactly.
here.
It's like all the attention is on you.
Yeah.
That's the only part that was like, oh man, I gotta be like good and maybe funny and likable. I don't know. It's
Right.
hard.
You can't just stand still. You got to like actually like move and everything. Like
Yeah.
I remember I had a friend that when his band was switching from uh I think they switched from like a 5 to 4 piece, or no, the other way around. They were switching from a 4 to 5 piece, so he was not going to play guitar anymore and sing. He was like, I don't know what to do with like my body because like I would just stand there and play guitar and sing, but now like I have to like hold the mic and like still
Yeah.
stand there, but not just stand there.
Yeah, you just gotta act like a freak if you're not playing anything else. You just gotta run around, get in the pit, fuck with people,
Yeah.
throw it in the air, spin it. I don't know. Just act like
Yes.
a fool. People like that. It's entertaining.
Yeah. Some of the shit that like some of these lead singers do is kind of intense. I can't remember what band I was watching, but like just watching them just hurl like almost like lasso the fucking like mic around them and shit, and then
Yeah.
like it's usually like the metal dudes that'll like do that, and then like it'll go around their neck and like they'll
Go
catch
around
it
their neck
again.
and then they're
Yeah, it's
oh
like
yeah.
what the fuck. It's
I
so
love all
sick,
that.
but like it's crazy.
I love the microphone windmill. I'll do that sometimes. I think it was like our second show I did it and the mic flew off of the cable.
Oh god.
like across the stage, and I was just like, oh man. Had to go awkwardly pick it up, plug it back in, like, so it looks cool, but
Yeah.
opportunity for failure.
Right. Uh, I know we're jumping around a little bit already, which I think this is going to be a good episode. Obviously, we are missing a few other dudes from See-Through. Who are they, and what do they do in the band as well?
Yeah, Zach plays guitar. Yeah, because it's just a four-piece: guitar, bass, drums, vocals. Zach plays guitar. Ron is on drums, and Luke, or sorry, I'm fucking backwards. Ron is on bass, and Luke is on drums.
All right.
And I wanted to have him here today, but shit happens.
No, it's totally fine. Since they're not here with us today, this is where I normally say this is where we pour one out in their honor. By pour one
Ooh,
out, I just mean we have a drink for them because we don't waste alcohol on this podcast.
well, this isn't alcohol, so I can pour this out a little bit.
Okay, that's up to you.
And I'm wearing swim trunks, so it's
Oh,
perfect.
boom.
That's why they're not here. They're all at a pool party, which I am going to after this ends immediately.
Okay. Well, we'll try and power through this. That way, you don't miss all the great California sunshine that's happening out there.
Which is funny
And
because it's like the first overcast day that we've had, and it's like, come on, of course.
yeah, right.
The day we want to pull it up, it's fucking cloudy.
Yeah, I think today here it's cloudy and like 50 degrees after just having like a few days of high 90s, which has been kind of crazy.
50 sounds awesome. Where are you at
Yeah,
again? You're
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, it's not bad. I had the window open last night. Nice breeze coming through. Slept perfect.
Yeah, I like the colds, so I don't fuck with how hot it gets here sometimes. It's insane.
Yeah. Uh, well, we'll get into hopefully one of these days we'll get you guys out here and then get
Yeah,
you to
hopefully.
Minneapolis. That'll be a sick time.
Hopefully.
But See Through for a lot of people that might not be aware of you guys is a relatively newer band. I mean, like I said, the debut self-titled EP came out in February this year. I think your first Instagram post was December 30th of 2023. So it's been not even a full 2 years of the band itself. And I know, like you said, you've been doing music for quite a while, but reading a lot of the posts, this one seems like the most heartfelt version of like you in a band of like just it feels like it's from reading all the posts. It feels like you're kind of like getting back to almost like your roots of doing things. What kind of makes like this project a little bit different than your previous projects?
Probably the fact that I don't want to say that like I lead it, because I would say Zach, our guitarist, like writes a lot of the stuff. Or everybody writes everything, and like as a musically, it's a group effort. But when it comes to like the personality of the band or like the story of the band, I think this is the first time that I've like been in control of that. I've been in a lot of bands, but like I said, like I was the drummer. As the drummer, you're not really even involved a whole lot in other capacities. So it's like this is the first time I'm like driving like the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
image of the band, like the social media, like talking with people. So I feel like I've also just grown up a lot and gotten more comfortable like with myself and like music and what we're like writing about and talking about, that I like being open and like honest and like kind of like a little exposed when it comes to the music stuff. So, and I think it goes hand in hand with like emo, post-hardcore, like that kind of vibe is like you want to just be authentic. I think there's like a lot of bands that want to put on like an image or like a character. It's like it's kind of just easier to just be yourself. You know what I mean?
oh, 100%. Like I feel like there's times to be have your band or a person of your band to kind of be that character, but like you said, when it comes to emo, you kind of want to have your authentic self kind of shine through, because like that's what people are going to resonate with the most.
Yeah.
Like aside from like the lyrical content, like once they get through the lyrical content and then they see the band itself, is like, if you look at the posts that you guys are doing, like they're like, oh, like this is real, and like it seems heartfelt. Like I can connect with this more than like I would connect with like so and so.
Yeah. I guess I hope that like when people see the shows or see posts or whatever it is that they're like, man, these people look like they're fun to hang out with, and it feels like we're friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of the clips I've seen of you guys' shows look fucking awesome. Which I want to talk about the Fresno scene here in a little bit, just because when a lot of people think about California, obviously you think about like the LA scene. I know South. I keep wanting to see South Carolina, but South California, San Diego area has a little bit of scene that
Yeah,
I've encountered a little bit, but Fresno's one I feel like I don't hear a lot of. Obviously I'm not from California, but I have experienced a little bit of the Fresno scene, so I want to talk about that here in a little bit as well.
for
Um,
sure.
but this debut self-titled, it's been so good to listen to. For people that haven't checked it out, it's a solid 6 song EP. I think it's a great introduction to SEETHRU as a band. With just like all the different facets that you guys are bringing in, instrumental wise, and then getting through that and reading and listening to the lyrics in its entirety. It's like there's a lot in here, and it's fucking killing it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we were just trying to figure the sound out for that first EP for sure. I feel like it jumps around a little bit for like the vibes,
Yeah,
but that's an EP. I feel like that's what an EP is for, is like
right.
figuring out like what hits or what we like to write. And I think we're already starting to write like more stuff to hopefully do a full length to follow it up, and I think we're dialing in on, or I think we're getting it dialed in on like the sound that we want to kind of, I don't want to say pigeonhole ourselves into, but there's like an avenue that we want to go down. And I think it's kind of more in the feeling of like Bliss and like Zodiac, like kind of the
Okay.
later songs. I don't know. We'll see. That's what the track it's on right now, it seems. I think we've got
All
like
right.
4 songs in the works that are kind of more like those that I really like. So
Dude, hell yeah. Yeah, because like this EP, while it does jump around, it's still at the end of the day, it does feel like a cohesive EP, but you do see, like, I think the elements of growing up in California, like, kind of shine through. Like, there's a little bit of moments in there where, one big thing when I think about California, I think about, the California hardcore scene. And I feel like some of that kind of shines through in different aspects, especially like when you get to, I think it was on Den or maybe Shrill, like, kind of has like that heavier feel to it, and I really liked seeing that kind of shine through. And then obviously, like you said, Bliss, it's more like the emo softer side, but it still feels very California at the end of the day. And not to say like you have to be from California to sound like California, but like you
yeah,
can
yeah,
kind of California has its own like ecosystem of bands, and I feel like I
totally.
could feel it all kind of shining through this EP.
That's kind of awesome. I haven't been called a California sounding band yet. That's kind of an honor.
Well, I mean, like it feels weird to say, but like obviously, hardcore is different across the states, and then even when you get to pop punk, and you look at like earlier like Stories of Far compared to state champs being from New York, like it's
Yeah,
completely different. Like
totally.
California has always kind of had its own like path and way of doing stuff where people have tried to mimic it but never fully got it right, and then emo is kind of becoming this new thing. I feel like where like everyone's trying to do Midwest style emo, but then just doing like this kind of emo post hardcore um, takes it to a whole nother level. But it's nice to see just kind of like those all the influences from over the years kind of shine through and everything.
Yeah, and then like everybody in the band has pretty different influences too, like music style wise. I mean, like Luke and Zach were both in this band Lay Wolves from Fresno that was popular for a minute in Fresno, and they were like a Burger Records kind of like indie rock, like sexy band. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then like Luke's been in like some math rock bands. Ronnie was in like my first like hardcore post hardcore band. Like there's a lot of different. I mean, I'm playing in like a grunge revival band. You know what I mean? It's like there's all these different kind of elements that come together that I think end up giving us like this sound of like sort of jumping around. I think
Yeah.
the most like apparent shit is like some of the like twinkly like the fingering guitar parts that Zach will do on some of the songs that like it's very like Dance Gavin Dancy. And I'm like, oh, that's when you're saying like California bands. I was like, I could see somebody picking out that part and being like, oh, that sounds like Dance Gavin Dance, Sacramento, let's go. You know.
uh, like how obviously like you guys have all have these different influences. How do you guys come together to kind of be like become see-through, and like what was those initial like writing sessions like?
I think Zach had the idea for. I think we were like on the coast, hanging out with one of our friends from out of town, just drinking, hanging out. And me and Zach were going to sleep on the air mattress in the living room, and we're very drunk and we're cuddling. And he's like, "We should start a band." And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have Luke play drums. I don't know who we're gonna have to play bass, but he's like, but you've been killing it in karaoke lately. You should do
Ooh.
vocals. And I was like, that sounds fun. Yeah, let's do that. And then that was basically like the core three people right there. We were just like gonna fuck around and try it. And then Ronnie he was in the military, and around that time he was almost getting out and moving back home. So we were like, and he's been out of playing music with us for like 6 years while he was doing that. So we were like, oh, dude, you're coming back, like perfect timing. You want to play bass for this thing? He's like, yeah, totally. And that was just kind of how it started. We met up the first time. Zach had a couple of ideas. I think we wrote Pine like our first day that we hung out,
Oh,
like the
sick.
entire song, like, and it didn't change. Like Pine was just like the easiest thing to write ever. It
That's a
was
good
crazy.
sign.
Yeah, it was exactly. That's what I was like, okay, this should be a band because we just rocked out this track in like 1 hour and it's pretty good.
I think it's a testament to like people that have been in bands and in the scene for so long. Like once bands come and go all the time, but like once you hit that certain point and you like kind of weed out all the people that like don't give a like a full shit
Ex-
about music, and you find like
exactly.
the core people that like actually give a shit. Like everyone's bands are always like on point for
Yeah.
whatever
I've
reason.
I've played with the same group of guys in different combinations for my whole life. You know what I mean? So it's like we all just like know each other's we know each other's vibes. Like we know where a song is going. Like can literally just like look at each other and like do all of the like we all hear the same thing in our head. You know?
Oh,
I
that's so
think that's
sick.
like the important part about like finding people to jam with and like being bands with is like there's something unspoken that like when it will be good and like when you will work together well.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, Zach, I've been in a bunch of bands with. Ronnie's been in a bunch of bands. Me and Luke, not so much because we're both drummers. So this is the first time we've actually kind of competed for for being the drummer in multiple bands, like the same bands. So yeah, it's a big building block. It's fucking 12 something years of history. And
Right.
not all the stuff was good for sure. But I think we're starting to figure it out. And yeah, like trimming the fat, like you said, getting rid of, I don't say getting rid of, that sounds mean, but people that aren't into it fall out and drama happens and all that's once all that dust settles, you're left with something that you can work with.
Yeah, yeah. Trimming the fat does sound kind of harsh, but that at the end of the day, that it almost seems like kind of what it is, but not by like intentionally doing it. It's more just like life,
No, yeah,
kind of
exactly.
maneuvers it that way. Because like I have a bunch of friends that like their bands that are going on right now that I've watched them all be in bands before, whether they were together or not. But like seeing them come into like their current bands and positions, like and seeing the shit that they're putting out is I'm like, dude, like this is the sickest stuff, and your band's actually still together. Like instead of putting out like a sick EP and then being like, oh, we're done. Like we tried
Yeah.
it.
The longevity of some bands is also awesome. Like I was just on tour with my other band with Just Friends. I don't know if you know Just Friends, but they've
Yep.
been a band for like I think I think 13 years. The same lineup, same people pretty much the whole time. And it's like that's awesome.
Yeah,
And it like
that's
definitely
crazy.
yeah, it definitely like shows just in their relationship, like hanging out with them all and like how they interact. It's like a family, and then their music is like it's always good and like evolving and consistent. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I just had someone else on recently. Like I think it's only two original members, two or three, but like they're still been a band for like almost like 20 years or something like that. And I was like, that's fucking insane. Like 20
Yeah.
years ago, I was 12. To think that something has lasted that long, it might have been 10 years, not 20. That sounds kind of long. Might have been 10, but still, I'm like, you guys were a band like my entire 20s. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of shit to go through.
And boy, is being in a band a lot of shit to go through.
uh, one cool thing that you guys did with this that I really want to bring out is you guys went and recorded with Ben Hirschfield,
Yeah,
and
love Ben.
like absolutely killing it. And I loved there's been a few different posts of thanking Ben and his VHS collection, which I saw not only the stack of videos that you guys picked out, but like the entire room. There's like a wide shot that you guys posted of just all the videos in there.
Oh yeah, he's
Like
probably got
that
like
is insane.
300 tapes or something. It's like 2 whole walls, like three or 4 shelves, 2 whole walls, all filled. And then there's like some in boxes and shit that he doesn't even
Yeah.
organize. It's
And
awesome.
then I looked at the stacks that you guys posted of like ones that kind of quote unquote like helped inspire this record like you guys posted, and we see titles such as Grease, Starship Troopers, The Thing, Original Dune. There's a couple Metallica live
Yeah,
VHSs. Like, how did those did they actually help like kind of get you in the right
they
mindset for the
so
recording?
yeah, so like when you're recording there, you're pretty much, you have movies playing the entire time. Like he has his VHS setup going to like a monitor in the actual like engineering room, but he also has it projected like in the big room, like where you're recording. So like you're pretty much watching movies the entire time that you're there, just with no sound.
Okay.
so those were all the movies that we like had on while we were recording. Like so like we would just be fucking zoning out watching The Thing, rip a dog apart. And then he's like, okay, like was that part on time? And I'm like, what? Sorry, I was watching The Thing. So maybe not so much inspiration as just it kept us going. I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's inspiration.
No, that's
Also a
super
little bit of a
sick.
distraction, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say like that's super cool that like they're projected, but I also do feel like you're in there kind of doing the same you know thing all day as you're recording, so you kind of just like you would zone out and just be like, oh okay, like this is on. Like I that would
it's
be
kind of
like uh
it's pretty
yeah.
funny. Like Luke was in there recording, like doing tracking the drums, and Ben's like talking to him, and he's like asking him to do something, and Luke is just absolutely zoned out watching 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's like the crazy, like the portal scene or whatever, where he's like going into the fucking monolith and all that shit, and it's like psychedelic fucking craziness, and he's just like, what? Oh yeah, okay. Let's play drums. But it's fun though. It keeps the mood light. The vibe
Yeah.
there is super super great. It's probably my favorite recording experience, going to New Tone and doing it with Ben, because he's just
Hell
an
yeah.
awesome guy and super good at what he does and is not an asshole, which is great.
Yeah, that's always the key is to have someone that's not an asshole, but uh, they because I always feel like I've never had to go through like a recording process, but talking to everyone, I've kind of come up with the prime person is you want someone that one not an asshole, but two is sees your vision, but three can also be kind of that like godly voice of like, hey, the voice of reason of like, hey, I know you guys want like three guitars in this section, but it's just too muddled. Like, it's not the
Yeah,
right move.
yeah, he's good at being the voice of reason, but he's also good at like producing as well. Like he's good at coming up with new ideas to like make it better. You know what I
Oh
mean?
hell
Like
yeah,
there was definitely what was really cool about the process was like when I was talking to him about booking the time and like give him all the info of like what we're doing. He's like, "Oh, can you like do you have any demos you could send me?" And we were demoing stuff out with Bart and Mom Jeans. And so sent him the demos and he was like, okay, cool. Here's some ideas I came up with. And he had like literally taken the demos and like fucked with them in his DAW and like added all of this shit and like rearranged stuff and sent it back and was like, I was kind of thinking this, like, but obviously you don't have to do it, but like this could be cool. Like, what do you think? And it was like, okay, yeah, this is just the song now. Like, we're doing this. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like pretty instrumental in like how Zodiac ended up. That song was like twice as long before.
Really?
And like, yeah, but then like that whole like final build up that like is the end of the EP basically was like his idea. And it was just so awesome that we were like, it just has to end there. Like it would be stupid to go back to anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was like, so yeah, Voice of Reason. It's like, yeah, you don't need, it doesn't need to be any longer. Like this is fucking sick. Just end it there. It's like, totally. Yeah.
Man, I can't imagine Zodiac being, because right now it's like 3.5, 3:20, I think. I can't imagine it being a 6 minute long song, or like
Yeah.
because
Maybe
like
not.
more than what it was. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe not double, but there's definitely like a whole other verse and like a fucking breakdown or something. And it was just like, that doesn't need to be there. I don't like when songs overstay their welcome, you know?
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, that was a good move for sure.
yeah. I mean that's the one thing too that I think I like about this EP is that it's only a 19-minute EP, which isn't long, but it also leaves you wanting more. You get through the 6 songs, and obviously today, like leading up to this, like I've had it on repeat, so I've already been going through that cycle. But like if you get to Zodiac and it ends, and you're just like fuck, like ready for more. And I think that's like a great way to do a first EP or first release. Obviously, you've been in bands, so you kind of know what you're doing. But I feel like some bands out there will kind of give us a little bit too much in there sometimes, where like you kind of get towards the end and it's just like, okay, like I think I've heard it all. Like I don't know, I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Yeah. I was kind of worried about the length of the EP because it does seem, I mean, 6 songs kind of is the max that you could do before it's an album. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that it's like leaving people wanting more and like it's not like it's like too long.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not too long of an EP or too short of a LP.
no. I think it's just perfect, and especially it makes me happy that it sounds like you guys, you mentioned those 4 songs that you guys kind of already have in the wheelhouse, and leading up to doing an LP, hopefully next. So I'm definitely ready to see what that next chapter looks like, especially when you're going more down like a certain lane. Not to say again, not to go back and say that all the different sounds in this one weren't cohesive and good, but it'll be nice to see like kind of as you guys are getting more used to like doing stuff together, seeing where
Yeah.
everything goes.
Yeah. I feel good about it. It'll probably take a while, but we'll do something else for sure. We'll record something at some point.
Okay.
I've
Uh,
have to guess probably next year sometime. So
yeah,
it'll
that'll
be
be
a little bit.
perfect. Yeah. And then obviously, with this one, like we mentioned, it's not just a debut, but it's also a self-titled debut. And I know, like, determining when to do something self-titled is like a big can be a big hurdle because you're like, is this the right time to use it? Like, what was the idea behind you guys doing self-titled on this one and using it now?
I it started as like a whole I liked the double entendre of like the initials ST because it's like the band See-Through,
Oh, yeah,
but it's also like you see self-titles just labeled as like S/T. And so I was like, well, that's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of clever. So I was like, it's an EP. Let's just fucking do it. If it's like the only thing we put out, like, that makes self-title makes sense. Fuck it.
yeah,
You
it's
know?
true.
I feel like a self-titled thing. I never really thought about it. Like, yeah, you can only do the self-titled thing once. So like, where do you do it? I didn't really have that thought, but that is interesting. I guess
I
when I
mean,
think about it, I would want to get it out of the way early.
true,
Like,
yeah.
you know, because you
Like,
can't
yeah,
predict what like your best thing is going to be. I guess ideally you'd want your best thing to be your self-titled, but like you're not going to know what that is until it's out, you know? So
yeah, yeah. Like, I feel like most bands can only use it once, but then you get like Run the Jewels, and I think they have like every single one of their albums is technically Run the Jewels, just like different numbers.
different, yeah, just different art,
Yeah. So I
different
mean,
versions of the
so I
hands or
guess
whatever.
so I guess you could always bring it back to if like you guys get to like LP2 or like EP3, and you're like, oh, maybe this one should be. We'll bring it back and do it again. But like getting it out of
See
the way,
through, but
like that's
see through, but for real this
yeah.
time.
Uh, but you know, like I really have enjoyed this whole EP. I think Pine and Bliss are probably like my two favorites off of this. Just the way that Pine kind of starts out the whole record, and then you know when you get to Bliss, it just kind of, I don't know if it's just because it comes right after Shrill and it kind of just changes up that sound a little bit before it, you know, it ends off the EP. But I feel like those are like my two go tos off this EP so far.
I think those are my two favorite too. So I fuck with you. Yeah, I really like how Bliss came out. Bliss was the one that we were all not sure of, actually. That was like, we weren't even going to include it
Hmm.
because, like, I don't know, the first passive recording we did on it was fine. Really, just from a vocal standpoint. Like, I only did like one vocal track on it when we recorded like the first time, but I was recording a bunch with my other band, Chain, a month later with Ben. So while I was there, I like in between, I was listening to it, not happy with it, and I was like, I'm just gonna do more vocal tracks like when I'm there recording this other shit. So I like spent an hour or two, you know, like adding stuff to it, and then me and Ben did like some extra production and stuff on it, like just to kind of like elevate it more. And then yeah, I think by the end of it, it ended up being like one of my like probably Bliss might be my favorite song from it for sure. Which is funny. It's like total 180. I was like, let's just keep this song like in the back pocket and maybe do something with it later. But I like that one probably the most.
Yeah, dude, it came out so sick. And then on this one too, you have a feature on it. Your friend named Kiki. Like, how was it bringing them in to like kind of be a part of that?
Keanu's awesome. He does so much for so many bands like in Fresno and the Bay. I mean, he's like tour manages and does merch for pretty much every thing that me and my friends are involved in musically. So like, and he was in Les Wolves with Zach and Luke. Like he's had plenty of his own bands too. Kiki is his current project that he does by himself with, backed up by the guys in Just Friends. But yeah, he's just the homie. We love having him around, and he's hella good at singing. So he literally just came down one day to like hang out in the studio, take pictures, just bullshit because he's also recorded with Ben and his friends with him. And I was like, Keanu, get on this track. Come on now. You sound beautiful. Come harmonize. It was literally just he was there, and it was like, well, we got to use him. He's so good.
Right.
Yeah, we love Keanu. He's the best.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome that you included them in there and like you know giving them that little extra props for everything that they're doing in the Fresno scene, which I feel like it's a perfect you know kind of tangent into the Fresno scene. Like I mentioned earlier, you know. Fresno's not one that I always think of when I think of like California music and things that are getting released. I think a lot of like, you know, the Bay Area, which I could be wrong in how close Fresno is to the whole Bay Area. So forgive me, I'm not up to date on my California geography anymore. But I remember like I played Fresno. I TM'd for a band and we played Fresno once. And I don't know, I did go find the flyer or like our old tour flyer, and we played at the Chinatown Youth Center.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say. I was wondering if it was CYC.
yeah,
That is a DIY staple
yeah,
in
dude. That place
Fresno.
was very sick. Is it still around?
It's like around in like an unofficial capacity. Like I'm pretty sure it's like the place is like condemned or something, and they just like do the whole like they have shows there, and it'll be like ask a punk for the address,
Hmm.
and it's like very like hush hush
Okay.
nowadays. Yeah, that place is wild. But there was a period where it was like every show was happening at like CYC or like Cafe Info Shop was like around the corner, both just grimy little holes in like holes in the wall. But yeah, that's like where I fucking grew up playing music is like CYC, which is
Dude, hell yeah.
hilarious.
I'll have to see if I can find like the actual flyer from that show and send it to you and see if there's any bands on there that you remember from that time.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
wondering what band it was that you were with.
we were a band called Exit Emergency from Iowa.
Okay. Okay.
This would have been like 2014 is when we were out there.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was probably around in the scene by then. Yeah.
okay, hell yeah. But
I
yeah,
might
I'll
have
have
been
to.
there.
Yeah, dude, that would have been sick. Um, but like these hole in the wall spots and like kind of more smaller rooms, you know, you see kind of like going back to like your Instagram posts, you kind of talk about those a lot and being like, you know, getting back to almost like your roots of playing those spots rather than you know like these bigger uh, venues, and getting to play like the smaller intimate spots is always a lot more
It's
fun to
fun.
do.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
awesome.
are there like other if people are coming through like the Fresno area, is there like other good like DIY spots that they should be thinking of playing up?
Yeah, Fresno goes through like phases of having these like DIY spots and having them be like solid and stable. So like that CYC era was like a whole era of its own. It was like CYC Cafe Info Shop, the Bell Tower. That's a lot of that's like gone. It was like COVID kind of like also COVID just fucked a lot of shit up as far as like
Yeah.
what stayed open and all that. So it's getting back to a good place now, I feel like in Fresno. There's this really cool like punk skate warehouse called Destructive Warehouse. That's just in the middle of fucking like the industrial part of downtown. And it's like also sort of hole in the wall, but like it's big. And there's just like half pipes and shit there. And like last time we had a show there, we like took our barbecue and we were like grilling outside and like, there'll be like 200 fucking kids there just like partying. It's fun. Destructive Warehouse is cool. Um, the Great Room, which is more of like a booking, a couple of guys like running like a booking company. They do have their own venue, but I think that they do really well with getting shows at some of like the I guess better equipped venues for music in town. So I don't really want to call them DIY spots because they're still like bars or like music venues,
Right.
but the guys themselves are very like grassroots DIY dudes that are like putting shows on for a ton of bands that are coming through Fresno and like being able to get them into like new bars and stuff like that. Or like the good venue around here that everyone likes to play is Strummers right now.
Mm.
It's like medium sized, not exactly DIY. It's like more of a club, but like very accessible to like anybody that wants to book it basically. So
Okay.
like Strummers is awesome. What are their DIY spots? Sour Milk is like a art novelty shop that our buddy Ryan Urquidez owns and runs. Uh, I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things that's got, knickknacks and tapes and CDs and chibi figures. And I don't know how to describe it. It's like a very cool aesthetic, but like they throw shows there all the time, just in the middle of the shop. They'll like move out all of like their displays and stuff. And that's like a very DIY vibe and it's awesome. Yeah, there's a handful. There's a lot of stuff going on in Fresno usually.
Dude, hell yeah. Yeah, that's sick to hear because I feel like a lot of obviously there's been like a resurgence in good DIY spots, lately after pandemic has kind of gone away or calmed down depending on how you want to look at it. But like thinking of like all the DIY spots that I grew up with like back in like that at least 2016 to like 2019 era, or years, like was some crazy stuff. I remember there was a DIY spot in Des Moines, Iowa, in the back of like a record store that they had like this giant room that like would host bands or
Yeah.
whatever, and it was so sick. But like it was one of those rooms where like they had a pole in the middle of the room for no reason, and it was always like a bunch of hardcore bands that played there. So like you always had to
People are
watch
getting
out for
fucked
someone.
up.
Yeah, and then like they had like this crazy drum riser. Like you'd probably get a kick out of it because like the band is like maybe a foot or two off like floor level, but then the drum riser is like a full 3 foot higher than them for no for no reason. It was the craziest fucking thing when they put that
that
in.
al- that always kind of weirds me out. I usually just prefer to just everybody scoot up and play all on the floor.
Mm,
I love that vibe for like a
yeah,
DIY show, just on the floor. Like get the people in behind me, get them at the drum set, fucking with the drummer. Like I want it to be like a hodgepodge mass of people. It's more fun.
yeah. I feel like I don't see that too often around here. Like I see it where like obviously the singer will kind of get out in the crowd, depending on what stage you're playing here in Minneapolis. Like some of them are kind of smaller stages, so it's like all right, fit whatever band members you can on there, and then kind of just go with the rest in the crowd. But to
Yeah,
have like everyone in the crowd and then like have everyone kind of engulf you guys, that'd be kind of sick to see.
yeah, it's fun. I like that vibe. I like getting the people involved. I like the interaction. That's like the most fun part for me as a front man, coming from being a drummer where I can't interact with anybody. That's like the funnest part.
Hell yeah. Um, I know we've kind of jumped around a bit talking about like the EP and see through in general, but like, is there anything that I might not have brought up before we start to transition?
No, I don't know. We did a little weekender. We did one little tour. That was cool. That's pretty much the only other thing that I guess I would talk about a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. How
But
did that go? Being obviously not your first tour as individuals, but first tour as see
yeah,
through. How did that go?
it was awesome. I like did like a whole double set thing with my other band. So it was SEETHRU Chain and then another Fresno band called Shop Dog, who are very good, very kind of like shoegazy. Just loud as fuck. Yeah, and it was awesome. It was just like a beach weekend. We just did like coastal towns. It was a
Oh
vibe.
hell yeah!
We just did Fresno, uh Atascadero, and San Jose. And it was like I didn't like expect much from it because I mean they're not like big cities or anything, and it's kind of like sleepy towns, but it was a good time. There was like had good turnouts at all the shows. One of them was in a dim sum restaurant. They served dim sum throughout the show. It was awesome. That one I was so skeptical about, but there was like 100+ people there, and it was like the most punk show out of all three of them.
Oh, dude, that's great. I feel like it's always the shows that you're like least suspecting always end up being the ones that kind of pop off a little bit.
Yeah,
Because I remember one time we played like I think it was like Rapid City, South Dakota, and we kind of got there. It was like a VFW hall. We get there and like there's a bunch of like just old vets or whatever, just like drinking at the bar, and we're like, you know, probably 20 to 22 in our group of like just these punk kids from Iowa, and we're like, this show's gonna fucking suck. Like, there's no one fucking here. And then
these
next thing
people
we
are
knew,
gonna
like,
hate us.
yeah, and next thing we knew, like they kind of those old guys like knew a show was happening, so that some of them kind of left because they were already aware for it. But like this whole pack of kids showed up out of nowhere, and just like threw down, and there was probably
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
in this room of like 50 to 70 kids or something. It felt like so many, like it was packed, but like they all turned out because nothing goes on in that town. So,
Yeah,
any,
exactly.
so it's like those are the best spots to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully we get to do some other sort of tour soon, but everyone's so busy. It's hard. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Got one guy in school. I've got tours with other bands. Got another guy, two guys in school finishing up shit. One working all the time. It's you know how it goes. It's fucking hard
Yeah.
with real life stuff to get the touring in.
Well, hopefully, yeah, hopefully more people get to see you guys on the road soon, and to maybe make it out this way, like I said earlier, and that'd be pretty sick to see. It's always fun when like I get to sit down with people and like have them end up showing up in Minneapolis. It's always a good
Yeah,
treat.
well, I might be showing up there in October with the other band. We don't have to
Oh
talk
hell yeah,
about it because it's the other band, but I'll check my calendar and let you know.
dude, hell yeah, sick. Um, but yeah, everyone basically goes into see through by the band see through. You'll have an amazing time. Um, I know as of right now, I didn't see any like physical copies. Is there a plan to do physicals of anything for this one?
I just finished the J card for cassettes this morning,
Sick.
so we should have some cassettes. We talked about getting like records. We might do that. Uh, I don't know. I don't really like the CD. I don't really like the CD thing. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out after the tapes. Vinyls are so expensive, so it's like don't know if I want to get vinyl. Tapes are cheap and easy. We'll definitely have those. I want to figure out some like niche, weird physical product that can also deliver music somehow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I don't know. I saw some band, they just had coasters that looked like records with like their download code on them. And I was
Ooh,
like,
that.
hey, that's pretty good. Like you get a
Yeah.
thing that's actually useful. And you,
I
but
just
you're just gonna download the fucking music anyway. Come on.
right.
Like like I feel like the most important part about physical merch is that it's just looks cool. Like it's a
Yeah.
collectible or it's useful.
Yeah. Like I,
There's
I
like a
have like all my records and stuff. I've started getting into tapes. I still don't have a tape player, so like I just have them displayed.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
at one point I'll finally get a tape player, but like even when I started collecting records, I didn't have like a record player or a good record player for the longest time. So it was more just like, okay, just collecting as I'm going as like a
Yeah.
nice decorative piece. And like now I finally upgraded my stuff, so like I'm not just a poser for anyone listening. But like for tapes, like it's just been it's nice because like I mentioned this before is like if I catch a band at a show and I look at their merch table and they have a bunch of shirts. Well, as like a big dude, any shirt that has like a front logo is usually not gonna look well on me. So if they have like a physical of something, and I usually don't get CDs anymore, so like if they have like a tape or like a record, I'll usually pick those up just like as a way to support, and then just like
Yeah,
add to the
exactly.
collection.
Yeah, we have physical merch. We just don't have it online or anything anywhere. We just sell it at shows right now. I mean, we got some shirts, we got like stickers, we got beer koozies and stuff like that. But no, yeah, at some point we'll probably put it all online. But it's also we have very little of everything, so we save it for shows so that we look like we're a real band.
That's fair.
Fake it till you make it, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, their merch table looks full. They must be a good band.
But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out, and everyone else should be too for those tapes, because I'll get that added to the collection as well, hopefully here soon. But like, uh, it's did I have anything? No. Okay, sorry. Had a thought and lost it right away. That's cool. That happens all the time. Um, but as we start to transition, this is obviously beers with bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I'll definitely do that for you. But I know you have a fine beverage in front of you on this fine Saturday. What are you drinking today?
A cherry bubbly sparkling water, which admittedly the worst flavor, but it's all I had. It's the only can I had that I could crack open with you.
Well, I appreciate you powering through that to participate in the opening crack with me.
Ugh.
If you were drinking today, is there like does is SEETHRU like a specific beer band like, or do you guys kind of
we
just drink
I feel
whatever?
like our crew in Fresno right now gets a lot of shit for this, but we're on the fucking White Claw game. We're on the
Okay,
White Claw Topo Chico. We're on the low calorie.
yeah,
I feel like everyone's
nothing wrong with
also
that.
everyone. I feel like a lot of us are in this like health era where we're like, all right, we gotta start doing something different.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like that all started with Bart. He just started fucking only drinking White Claws anytime we did anything to the point where it was like annoying because it'd be like we'd have all this like alcohol like at a party or like we go out to a bar, everyone like will be getting something and he's like, do you have a White Claw? And they're like, fuck you, dude. Like, but it's like slowly crept out to everybody else because it's like, oh yeah, he's gotten skinny, so let's all do that.
Right. Yeah, I
I
remember
like
when.
it. I like it all. I'll drink whatever. I'm more
Yeah,
of like a cocktail guy. I like making like fancy cocktails and shit, but you can't really be sitting around drinking those all day. So
yeah, that's true. But I feel like I'm the same way. On this podcast, it for the longest time it was PBRs, and then they just started getting a little too heavy. So that I've tried to switch it up. I switched to hams, which isn't probably any better. But so I mainly
I
do
feel like
like
they're on the
hams and
same
Modelo's.
level.
Yeah, in my mind, it seems like it's better for me because I'm getting the 12-ounce hams compared to the 16-ounce PBRs.
I
So
mean, yeah, that tracks. That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mainly do PBRs, not PBRs, hams and Modelo's on these episodes. It's been a while since I've done like a 40 on one of these episodes.
Ooh,
Those ones take a while. Take
we
a
used
lot out.
to back in the day. We used to do a lot of 40s. A bunch of this guys I play music with all have a stick and poke 40 tattooed on their knee that they all got one night when they all lived together. I'm like one of the only people in our crew of like fucking 12 people that doesn't have a 40 tattoo.
Funny enough, I just got one of my logos tattooed on me, um, and the logo that I got is so I have these 40 stickers,
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, I think
and
I saw that. I think I saw the tattoo.
yeah, so I got it like as a crossed thing on the back of my leg. I just got it done like last week.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it
Is
led to
it
like a
is
whole
it
conversation.
is
Sorry,
it
go ahead.
doing well? Is it doing
Yeah,
well? Is it
it's in
healing
it's
well?
it's in the peeling phase right now, which is annoying as fuck and it itches. But other than that,
Yeah.
it's doing great.
I got a tattoo in Glasgow on that tour that I was just on, and it got all infected. It was real bad.
Oof.
Yeah, it sucked ass. And now it looks like shit.
Damn.
It's not that bad, I guess. It's this guy, but it's
Yeah, it looks good on
fucking
camera, at least.
yeah. It looks good from far away, and like if you're moving, like a bunch of ink got rejected. It was all fucking scabby and scarred. It's bad. I gotta fix it.
Oof. Yeah,
But it was
that's
free.
okay. Yeah, you can't complain too much then, I guess. It was, but no, yeah, mine's doing good. It was the first thing I've gotten done in like a couple years, so like I didn't remember how that pain felt for the first time,
It
and
feels
then
good. It's
yeah,
it's cathartic.
once it kind of gets going, it if you get right in that mode, I feel like for me the thing that always fucks me up is just like the line work session or part of it like always hurts worse than like anything else.
Oh
Just
yeah,
because it's like that single needle going, but like once you get through the first couple jabs, you're fine for everyone
yeah.
listening.
I'm just getting started on the tattoo shit. I've only got a couple in the past year or so, like my first ones, but I'm definitely planning on getting more. I think it's awesome. It's like a very meditative experience, and then
Yeah,
you get sick art forever, which is
right.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm working on finishing my right leg for right now, and then I'll start on go back to my left leg at some point. But yeah,
Nice. Are you all legs?
yeah, mainly because like the job I've had like for the longest time they were kind of like got to keep everything covered up, so I've avoided doing my arms. So I was like, oh, I'll do my legs first. So I'd have like both tops of thighs, my knees done, ankles are inside of ankles are done, and then I just got those two pieces last week. So back of the leg, and then starting on the calf.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, it's 2025. Fuck your employer. You can get
Oh
tattoos
yeah.
on your arms.
I mean now they don't care as much, but like since I've
Yeah.
already started on the legs, I'm like, well, I don't want to look weird and like have like pieces just kind of everywhere, so I want to just kind of finish one spot and then figure out what to do from there.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm trying to just do this one arm first, just fill it up.
Yeah. Um. Well, that's the little beer and tattoo segment for everyone listening. That's a good one. Uh, but like I mentioned kind of before the episode started, we usually do end off talking about some fun stories from time of music. Obviously, you've been doing music for quite a while, done quite a few tours. This is where we usually kind of talk about a couple stories. They're usually, as I normally say, anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between style of story.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
The way I like to think about it is think about the stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the ones that everyone loves to hear.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, I do have a lot of fucked up stories, but does it have to be with this group of guys?
No.
Actually, Luke was there. I could tell this story.
Okay.
Luke, this was on a tour with a different band. Meet Me in Montauk back in the day. And Luke was with us doing merch and like just hanging out, taking photos, doing merch. And I think this is in like Arizona or New Mexico. We go to this place called Biblos. It was like a Mediterranean restaurant. And Luke and our guitarist in that band, they're the only ones that get this vegetarian dish. They get the same vegetarian dish. We eat. They had plans after the show. We play the show. We had a place to stay with the guys in Sundressed, I think was the band. I don't know if you've heard of
Okay.
them,
Yeah, they
but
sound
so
familiar.
they've been a band, also been a band forever. Stay with them, and Luke and some of the other guys had plans to go see the Migos. The Migos were playing the same city we were playing that night, so they were like, "All right, we're gonna play the show. Then we're gonna go to the Migos concert." We're like, "Okay, that's not really my vibe," so I didn't go. I'm just hanging out at the house. They come back within like an hour of leaving, and they are like shitting themselves, like literally like fighting over the bathroom, puking, shitting their guts out.
Oh my god.
Violent food poisoning from this place that we ate, right? And like all night, this is a problem. They're fucked. There's two of them got it really bad. Luke and one of our other buddies dealing with it all night. We finally end up going to sleep. We wake up in the morning. We look at Luke, and he just like lifts his head up in shame. He's like, I think I shit the couch. So then this is like before anybody's awake. It's like just me and him. And I'm like, oh, this is like at somebody's house. They're letting us stay there. And we're like, no, dude. Oh no. Like, are you okay? He's like, no, I feel like I'm gonna fucking die. So we fucking clean up the mess and we leave as fast as possible.
Oh god.
Leave as fast as possible. And we have like a 7-hour drive the next day. So we literally had to buy diapers for a few people in the van, and we rocked diapers in the van for like one whole day on this 7-hour drive. I think I also had to like hold somebody like out of the van so they could
Like
shit on the
properly.
side,
Yeah.
squat and shit on the side of the road. Fucking horrendous and terrible. That's a horrendous one.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah, getting sick on tour is the fucking worst. I actually got sick on this last tour I just did. The same thing. I got food poisoning the day we were flying to the UK.
Oof.
So it was, and then Bart, member of my band, got food poisoning on the day of our flight back. So we both on each end of the tour had violent food poisoning for like a 10+ hour flight.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
nightmare. It's like, what a way to start and end a tour.
Yeah. Damn.
But we made it. And both those tours and both these stories were great. You know, what it doesn't kill you makes you stronger or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I gotta be thankful. We never any of the runs we ever did, no one got like violently ill or anything like that. I remember one time we played, I think it was Lincoln or Omaha, Nebraska. We stayed at our friend's house, or one of the bands that played. They let us stay at their place, and we had gone to eat Five Guys after the show, which is why I don't really fuck with Five Guys as much anymore. But like, it really like kind of ran through a couple of the guys, and we were staying at their house, and I feel like they had warned us ahead of time of being like, hey, like our pipes aren't like the greatest, like
Oh
just be
no.
careful. And like they're like, if you gotta, take a shit or anything, kind of don't use the bathroom downstairs. We'll use this other one. We're
There's
like,
all
oh yeah,
these
yeah,
all these stipulations. It's scary.
yeah. And of course the one of the guys, like, we either told him and he didn't listen, or he just wasn't around and like no one told him or anything. But like he ends up using that bathroom and like clogs it immediately, and comes and tells us, and we're like, we gotta go tell these people that like, hey, thanks for letting us stay here, but also like we
clogged
fucked
the
it. Like,
toilet.
yeah,
See ya.
because apparently like a root had gone through like their plumbing, so like it really like was all fucked, and like just like the sad walk of shame we had to do is like
Oh
we
yeah,
told them,
man.
and then they're like, there's like, we'll figure it out, and we're just like, we're so sorry, like,
Yeah,
well,
I think I've done the same. Like someone let us stay at their place, like clog the toilet, and then like we have to leave because we have to drive to the next spot. It's like, hey, dude, thanks for letting us stay. Also, I clogged the toilet. I'm so sorry,
yeah.
but I have to go. And then you're just like in the van afterwards. You're like, well, they're never letting us come over again. Yeah, I feel like that's a classic tour story. People
Yeah.
just getting sick is fucking. I feel like it's happened on every tour I've gone on. Someone has to go to the hospital, or fucking gets food poisoning, or breaks a bone, or whatever, man.
Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good story now. Really good story. I mean, the fact that we make it home in one piece, I think, is a good story every time. Like,
Yeah,
all tour is fucking ridiculous stories, like every day. You know what I mean? It's all fucking, it's just crazy.
yeah. To be able to make it home and like still have a bond with your friends after a run, like that's a
Yeah.
highlight in itself.
Yeah. I mean, I've had some runs where I was not friends with the people after. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like when the tour happens, shows go off without a hitch, you break even, and everyone is friends and has a good time.
yeah,
That's the best way a tour can go. It can work
yeah.
out, you know?
It's the best way to do it.
Get some new fans, you know? That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah.
Oh, good story from this thing in the UK, Dublin in Ireland. So I'm gonna get on some nerd shit right now. I really want to, after this music, when I'm done, I'm old with music. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm gonna get into falconry.
Oh yeah, I saw the
I have,
picture.
yeah, yeah. So I'm even wearing the falconry hat right now. Uh, I was already nerding out on this shit before we did this thing of the picture you saw. But yeah, we did like a hawk walk in Dublin around this like castle where this guy just is a falconer. He just has like 10 fucking falcons. And he's just a guy by himself. He's just kind of like a caretaker of like the falconry like pens. And we literally just walked around this castle for like an hour and a half or so with a fucking hawk like on our hands, and it would like fly off, fucking catch like a small animal, eat it, fly back, like you catch it on your arm. Like it was majestic and beautiful. It was so awesome. It'd run around on the ground with you like a little raptor. I got a whole video of it like eating an entire baby chicken. It like rips the head off and pulls all of its guts out. And I'm like, dude, you are fucking metal. That was like the coolest experience. It's so fucking nerdy, but like doing that recently, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting a falcon in like 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, this is a side question to all this. Obviously, you've been to the UK and doing all this. Like, when you do like an excursion or something like that, is it something that you're like with like the booking people that have just been like, hey, we have these off days. Can you find us something to do? Or like, how do you
No, it
come
was just
about like
like
doing that stuff?
that was just like us. Well, so for this tour, a handful of it was a handful of us took like our wives and girlfriends and partners for like the first like week because it was a few of their birthdays during the tour.
Hmm.
So like I took my wife. Our bassist took his fiance. The singer of Just Friends took her boyfriend. And then like we were just on some like couples shit where like we had so many days off because we went kind of like a week early
Oh,
to
okay.
like vacation with them more so. So like we had a lot of off days at the beginning, and it was just like we were just kind of I just let my wife look for shit to do. I was like, I'm here to play music. I'll do whatever you want on the off days. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of just like looking cool shit up to do and being like, yeah, let's do that. A hawk walk. That sounds cool. I think that was John and Braun from Just Friends. They found that and they were like, do you guys want to go? Like, oh yeah, I want to go. Hell yeah. It was crazy she brought that up. She didn't even know I was a nerd for the Falcon shit. And I was like, oh, I'm going to that for sure.
That's awesome. That's
Or
yeah,
like
that's very
a lot
cool.
of TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I don't fuck with that. But Sam fucking loves TikTok. And so there's so many times we would just be in a city. He'd be like, oh yeah, I saw this potato place on TikTok. Let's go. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just looking shit up. Looking shit up on the internet. Being open to do whatever comes along too. I feel like is like a good mentality to have.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Like
I
we
feel like
just
that's the kind of way to do it, especially like you know for some bands getting to go over to the UK, like it doesn't happen all that often. So like if you're going, like try and experience as much as you can at the same time.
yeah, it was probably the best tour experience that I've had in the sense of like the scheduling and like the professionalism of it all. They do shit way different over there. Like every every venue like has a rep for the show. Like it's all very official.
Mm,
Like you're treated very well like as a band over there. So it's like you get a set schedule every day. It's like load-in's always going to be at 4 or 5. Sound check's always going to be at 6:30. You're always going to play at like 8:30. Then it's the show is over by like 10:30, no matter what. And it's like it's also such a small country that your drives are only like an hour or two every day.
yeah,
So we would, we'd get up, pack the van, like leave, get to the next city, and have like way more time than I've ever had on a tour in the US to just dick around. So like that was the first time we've even had a chance to do like kind of fun vacation stuff and like check out what's cool in a city before just going to the fucking venue and sitting there and listening to bands and playing a show,
right.
and then going to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's yeah definitely a bummer of the touring in the U.S. is like we want to hit all these cool spots while we're in this town, but it's like by the time if anyone's needs to pee on the drive, it automatically adds like an extra 40 minutes to your drive. And then
Yeah.
you also got to factor you have like 5 to 6 people in the van, so it's like we're never gonna make it like on time to go see anything else. We're making it for maybe load in, and we might still be late for that. But that's
Yeah.
basically what we're doing.
Yeah. I feel like the US tours, we're always rolling up to the venue at the last possible moment. And that's just because you need all of the time to get there.
Yeah,
It's kind of a nightmare. It's like I feel like spoiled now that I know you can tour other places for, and only have to drive like an hour or two. It's great.
yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely. Like for a long time, I was envious of people that lived on like the East Coast because they can hit like New York, Philly, Baltimore like pretty quick. But yeah, when you think about the UK and being able to go like that whole stretch in way even like better time, like that's so sick to compare. Because like even in the Midwest, it's like if we want to go play somewhere, it's like 5 to 6 hours
Yeah, it's
depending on where you want to
crazy.
go. Like kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think technically if you were just to drive like at all at once in one drive to all of the cities that we played on the whole 2 week tour, like you could do it in like 11 hours or 12 hours. Like you can cross the whole country in like 11 hours, 12 hours. It's like it's awesome. They don't get
Yeah,
it. They don't know how good they have it over there.
gotta let them know.
Oh,
Uh,
I was, trust me, because they would ask about how they'd ask about the US and like we run into people and they'd be like, "We're going to LA soon. What should we do?" And I was just like, I don't know, leave it. Like the place sucks. They're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You can't fucking walk anywhere." I was like, "You guys gonna get a car?" They're like, "We weren't planning on it." You're not going anywhere then. You have to have a car in the United States. Like you're gonna have to get a car. You're not walking anywhere. You're gonna be in traffic for 2 hours to go 10 miles down the street. It's like I was really bumming them out. I felt bad. But it's like that's just the reality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
Like
like
you
there was
can't
something I saw where like these people from the UK were gonna come over and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna like hit all these different cities. It's like, do you realize how long that's gonna take you to do? Like, it's not like that just
yeah.
ruins your vacation.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, you're not hitting anything extra.
Yeah. Man. See, UK people, you have it easy, but we'll save that episode, that whole conversation for another episode. But Logan, this has been a great time, talking about everything see through and like the ZP. Like I really am stoked to kind of see what you guys do for this next chapter. Um, and I know we're already sitting pretty good from these stories, but I like to end off on an even higher note. So I got one final question for you tonight before I let you go. It's from your time in see through, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
Favorite moment. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I I really liked our first show that we ever played because we had no business playing it at all. It was with Just Friends when they played here in Fresno. It was like Just Friends, Sad Park, and King of Heck, which friends with all those bands. So that's the only reason we got to play it. But it was, I feel like that's kind of what like catapulted the confidence that I have in the band. Like I was like unsure about it at first, and then being able to do that and like I feel like we did well. I mean, we've improved so much since like that first show. But even at the first show, like people fucked with it, and it was like we were like the standout band that didn't really sound like the other ones.
Hmm.
And so I was like worried that like people weren't gonna fuck with it because of that. But it was like no, people were like, oh, like I was not expecting that, and this was awesome. And so I think that was like the defining moment of like, yeah, I can do this shit. Like I'm comfortable as hell now. I'm gonna ham this shit up. And then it's all downhill from there. Yeah, it was a
Uh,
very good first show. It was a fucking great turnout at that Strummer's place I had mentioned, like one of the better venues here in Fresno. Pretty packed. It was probably like just the best first show a band could ask for. So thank you to the friends and just friends for letting us do that.
Dude, hell yeah, yeah. That's hell of a first show. But it's great that it built the helped establish the confidence that you guys have because, hopefully there's many more shows where people get to come see you guys, and do all your fun stuff. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or see through in general, where can they find it?
Man, that's a good question. Spotify is the main spot for music for sure. And I think that you can get merch on Spotify too. I haven't put it up there yet, but I would just say go to the Spotify for now.
Okay.
Spotify and listen to the music, because that's the only part that matters, is that you like the music and you listen to it.
True.
We don't need you to buy shit, whatever. Just listen so that the little number on my Spotify for Artists dashboard goes up 1.
Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, or you watch the YouTube version, you get to see Logan's lovely face like I did today. Make sure you check the hyperlinks all down below. Go follow them on all the socials. Be ready for new music, new merch, those tapes, upcoming tour dates, and everything that they might have up their sleeves. You know, like I said, this album is super sick. I'm really stoked on it. Can't wait to see what you guys do next. And I know it's gonna be killer. Like I'm really stoked to kind of see. I know you didn't want to use the term pigeonhole a certain lane, but like I want to see kind of where this more cohesiveness is going to lead to. That's going to be sick.
That's a good word for it. I think it'll be more cohesive for sure.
And I know everyone else is stoked, but Logan, one last big thank you to you for taking the time out of your Saturday to sit down with me and talk about your band.
Thank you for having me. It was super fun.
Of course, anytime. Everyone, go listen to SEETHRU, listen to their album SEETHRU, and I will catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Peace.
Beers with Biz.